arcade sucks!
Welcome back to Sonic CD. We got a little special, well, at least for me, a little special late night Sonic CD recording. But, unfortunately, we got to play this abomination of a zone. I don't know what the devs were thinking when they made this zone, but I will tell you this. So this thing here, as you can see, is an anomaly. I can't speak right now, but an anomaly, because normally you would think, oh, well, you know, that thing's gonna crush me. Nope, it's not actually, which is crazy. It's weird that they have designed the level the way that it has, as well as you literally cannot touch the ground in this stage at all, and it makes it very, very annoying. It makes it very, very hassling, because you would think these would crush you, but they actually take you down through a series of tunnels that you can use to actually time travel and find machines. But since we already have a good future secured, you can see here, but it's the same equivalent as, if y'all know my friend, Sendo DX, there's a term that he likes to use, which is bashing your head against a wall. And I would say that that is the same philosophy that, that applies here. You are essentially bashing your head against a wall to make things work. Or bashing your head, against, that actually works. Essentially to make sure that these systems and everything that is going with it, works, which is, well, not ideal, because you really are just hitting your head against a wall to make sure you can see what does and does not work in terms of, getting through this stage. To be perfectly honest, Wacky Workbench just is not that good. Wacky Workbench is probably, when you play Sonic CD for the very, very first time, I would say that Sonic CD is the very first stage that makes you realize, like, dang, the level design is not that good in this game. And who in the world approved this cluster frick of a absolute stage? Like, who designed this? They should be fired, kind of thing. Because that's really what this is. And I was pressing jump on that, by the way. Don't know why. I will say this: I do love the past mix for Wacky Workbench, and Wacky Workbench, in the past at least, is a little bit more manageable to work through. So that's another reason I went to the past instead. If you want to go to the generator, if you don't have all of them, all you have to do is literally head straight back to the beginning, where that little thing that took us, it's actually right below that. You won't see it because you're going at it by blazing speed. But here we're going to have some primary examples of things throwing you around, because you have now, these poles have been introduced to you, which, well, they aren't ideal. That's the best way to put it. They also make you want to bash your head against a wall an infinite amount of times. There we go. You actually have to time it, like, exactly correctly. Yeah, because, and if I had to guess what their thinking was for Wacky Workbench, I would probably say that Wacky Workbench was a result of, they got tired of spamming springs on the ground, so they're like, let's just make the entire world a spring. And that's probably what they did. But here we are, Act 3, obviously. And I feel like, you know, with this series and how everything's been going, I have a little bit more of a right to speak on kind of what how I feel about this game, because a lot of people don't go back and watch my old playthrough of Sonic Origins, where I basically played the game exactly like I'm playing it now. And I played Sonic CD in that. And a lot of people were quick to write off, like, because I get it. I do hate on Sonic CD a lot. And I have good legitimate reasons, but I think a lot of people just chalk it up to, oh, well, you're just saying that because you have a skill issue or whatever, when, like, genuinely that's not the case. It's like, I'm great at classic games. I've been playing the classic games for a long time. You know, I've played most of them, probably more than most people probably have. Oh my frick, please. Okay, this one, my fault. I've been probably playing it more times than most people have. But, that being said, I didn't even know you could actually fall down like that, because I know you have to hit Eggman twice. But, I've probably, you know, played it more times than most people have. Because of, well, you know, I just had that obsession with the Sonic, and, you know, I came to these conclusions on my own. Okay, you know what? Anyway, as I was saying, I said, I think I have more of a right to be talking about Sonic CD the way that I do talk about Sonic CD, because I've played it enough to where I really know how much I dislike the level design, and I have enough skill behind the game where a lot of people will just chalk it up to me having a quote-unquote skill issue, when it's genuinely just like, this game is not designed well no matter what. And I think Wacky Workbench is probably, oh, my bad, is probably the biggest prime example of the bad level design in this game. It's probably prime example number one. And then when you go back through the rest of the game, if you actually have a brain and you're not like, you know, like 5 or whatever, you'll start to realize, like, dang, there's a lot of things that are slinging me around, not just Wacky Workbench, you know? And when you realize that about this game, man, does it feel kind of good to be able to you know, finally rest upon the horizon. But yeah, and that is the Wacky Workbench boss. Pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. He's no big deal. But now we have made the mistake of getting a good future for... Oh, I forgot Stardust Speedway existed. I'm not gonna lie. I genuinely forgot this zone existed. I always forget this zone exists. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not, like, bad in any... I would say this is one of the other more somewhat decently designed stages in the game. If I had to give 3 stages really good level design in this game, it would be this one, Palm Tree Panic, and not Collision, Quartz Chaos, but Quartz Quadrant, I should say. But this one, it still slings you around a lot. There's a lot of linear pathways, as you can see, but it still loves to really sling you around in this game. It really, really does. So you do got to be careful, because the little switching gimmick there and everything like that, and also these little pathways where they throw you inside or whatever, they're very, very annoying to deal with, as well as the Metal Sonic Race, which you're gonna see does not control well at all. It's not good. It's not good at all. But yeah, that's Stardust Speedway, obviously. And I liked it in Mania a lot. It definitely changed on me on Mania, and I'll say this, I love the aesthetic of this area. It's very beautiful. I love the nice neon lights in the background, and the yellows and the horns and everything, and the music, obviously, that's very Michael Jackson inspired. I love a lot of the aesthetics and the music and stuff that's going on here, much like the rest of the game. But geez, man, like this stuff right here, like this isn't annoying, but it is definitely just like, what the frick kind of thing, you know? It's definitely like a very weird, like, why are you throwing me around in these, you know, kind of thing. Like, you know, it's very I guess the best way to put it is it's tedious. It's very tedious having to go through these, and then, you know, it keeps up your momentum for a good bit. This stage does a good job of doing that, but it also does a weird job of destroying it, as well as, like, look, there is still random spring placement. As you can see right there, there was a random spring right there that literally just bounced me back for no good reason other than that they just had that there. So it's like, if you need more reason enough to why there is blatant spring spam in this game, there's one of your biggest reasons. But here we are, the good future for Stardust. And let me tell you, this is a great future. If it wasn't for the fact that, oh my frick, this race sucks. Metal Sonic races have never really been that fun to begin with. I don't even think they're that fun in fan games either, to be honest. Like, as y'all know, I had a lot of trouble with the fan game and what was it, in Robo Blast 2. I really don't think they're that fun, especially when you take into account the level design of this game, where you can see they just blatantly place a bunch of spikes and just kind of call it a day. Like, I get that you don't want to have a straightaway going, but this isn't the way to do it. There's better ways to make this more fun. I would argue that Sonic 4 Episode 2 has more fun Metal Sonic bosses and races than the entirety of this game or any of the other ones. Well, even Sonic Forces has a more fun boss race. Even Sonic Forces has a better boss race, but there we go. Literally, the drop dash kind of makes this stage broken a little bit, and, you know, don't have to worry about anything. And now all we have to do is save Amy. And boom. And then I think it's Metallic Madness after this, and we're pretty much good to go. So, with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.